buy from anybody that you want to. So you can buy your products, your raw materials, the food that you're going to prepare, anywhere you want to. So the suppliers have no bargaining power with you. The same thing with customers. If a customer comes up to your food truck and wants you to discount your $3.95 taco to $2.95, most likely you're just going to say, you know what, I'm sorry, this is my price and that's my price. Because theoretically you got a line of people behind them, and if you do it for that one, you got to do them for all. That just doesn't happen. So your customers have very little bargaining power in this situation. Now, the rivalry is much greater because typically in a food truck industry, 2 or 3 or 4 food trucks will descend on the same location at the same time. So you're going to have competition. And the threat of new competitors is also pretty high, because to get into the food truck business only requires an investment of about $50,000. And so as businesses go, it's a relatively easy business to get into with a low barrier to entry. Now, the threat of substitute products is also extremely high, because people can get food anywhere. And so, you know, if you're overpriced or under quality, or you're not there at the right time, when they're hungry, you know, they're going to buy somewhere else. So this little layout is representative of this particular industry. Now let's look at a clothing consignment store. Similarly, you don't have suppliers that you have to worry about. Your suppliers are people that are bringing in used clothing, so they have no bargaining power with you, because there's not that many options where they can take their used clothing, and not all consignment stores will take everything that's brought to them. So you're in a relatively good position as far as negotiating with your suppliers. And your customers are pretty much the same. Your items are unique, relatively unique, and customers don't typically get to come in and negotiate a whole lot. And if they do, it's not a significant impact on your business. Rivalry, there's not a lot of people just itching to get into the consignment clothing business. And so you don't really have a lot of intense like discounting and that sort of thing going on. Certainly they're not typically close together, and there's not a lot of advertising and marketing that they do, so it's not a real visible, intense sort of rivalry. And there's not a lot of competitive threat of people getting in. While it's not terribly expensive to get into the consignment clothing business, you just need an empty space and some racks, and then tell people, come on, bring your stuff. It's not a big capital investment. There's no regulatory burdens in terms of getting into the business. It's not an attractive business in terms of everybody. There's not so much money being made that